Everybody's looking for a way to maximize their profit margins, and it can be difficult as a dropshipper to know where to look. In fact, most people tend to look at the wrong things. They think, well, maybe I should just charge more for my product, or maybe I should try to find another supplier that can get it for cheaper, or how do I get my ad spend down? But this is very two-dimensional. It's a binary way of looking at the problem. And I want to share with you 2 X factors that are going to 3X and actually 4X your profit margins when applied appropriately. Before we dive any deeper into this subject, I actually have to announce the winner of the giveaway that I did in the last video. This person is going to get 30 days free in the yard. So they get 30 days of coaching and mentorship from me and my team. The winner is Trip Fall. You'll see the name here on the screen. Please contact me, DM me on Instagram. That's probably the easiest way to get a hold of me, and we'll get you your free 30 days to the yard. Now, I want you guys to stick around because at the end of this video, I'm actually going to give away $300 again to somebody who comments on this video. I'm going to pick them at random. You also need to subscribe to the channel and follow me on Instagram at JohnXPaul in order to be eligible to win the $300. Now, some of you may be new to dropshipping, and so I'm going to give a fairly simple example of really where your profit comes from as a dropshipper, and then I'll build upon that and reveal these 2 X factors that I talked about earlier. So as a dropshipper, the business model looks like this. You have your revenue from the order. So let's say we sold an item for $50. And for the sake of this exercise, we're going to ignore processing fees and like little things that might affect your margins by 2 or 3% because it's kind of irrelevant to the point of the video. So let's say you want to make $1,000 profit per day. In this hypothetical scenario where we're selling something for $50 and our margins are 20%, you would need 100 orders in order to hit $1,000 profit per day. Now, any of these micro adjustments that you could make, like maybe you're able to add $2 to your margin, aren't really going to make a significant difference in your bottom line. You might be able to go from $1,000 to $1,200 per day. Let's say if you save $2 on your cost per goods by switching to a different supplier. But these 2 things that I'm going to introduce to you today can turn that $1,000 profit to $3,000 or $4,000 per day with the same amount of ad spend, the same amount of orders. You can go from 1,000 to 3,000 per day simply by doing these 2 things. X factor number 1, this has the potential to increase your margins by 400 or 500%. And I'm not exaggerating here. We'll actually go through the numbers here in a second. And funny enough, this is something that you will implement before you ever even run an ad. This is something that you're going to implement during the product research process. It's making sure you're picking the right kinds of products. And I'm going to discuss the one thing that I think has the biggest impact on my selection process. And that is the potential, the likelihood that someone's going to need or want to buy more than one. For example, we have this macrame hanging floating shelf for planters or whatever somebody wants to put on there. And even in the photos, it's displayed as a singular item. And just in my mind, thinking about the customer's experience, the type of buyer that we're looking for, it's far more likely that someone's just going to want one of these. You might get the occasional person who buys 2. To get someone buying 3 or 4 would be extremely strange, right? So in a situation like this where someone's only going to buy 1, you have to stretch your profit margin in order, because people aren't going to buy more than 1 at a time. And that reduces your conversion rate because they're not getting as good of a deal as if you'd priced it a little bit lower, right? And as an alternative to that, we have these conch vases that are meant to be mounted on the wall, and you put flowers in them. The likelihood that someone's going to buy more than one of these is significantly higher because the product's actually displayed that way. There's 6 units in the primary photo here. This particular product is much more likely to not only remain profitable, but actually have significantly higher profit margins. Now let's go back to our hypothetical scenario that we talked about earlier. Let's say your order value was $50 and you spent 20 on COGS and another 20 on ads, and your profit was only $10. Let's say this is actually a product where people are more likely to buy 2 or 3 at a time. And let's say they just bought 2. That brings your order value up to $50, and then it costs you $40 to fulfill it because you have to send 2 units. and you only spent $20 on ads. Your profit then is $40, which is a 400% increase over the 10 that you got on the other order. This is extremely powerful, and I could talk for hours and hours about which product categories are more likely to get multiple purchases than others and what types of products to look for. And honestly, we get into this in my Discord all the time, and I'm happy to answer those questions there, but it would be a much more extensive video to get into like every single category and all types of products and so on. I just want to discuss the fundamental principle here, and you can then apply that filter to your research process and improve your win rate and your margins on your winners. X factor number 2 has to do with post-purchase upsells. So this is similar to X factor number 1. However, the customer didn't need a discount to get the second purchase, to buy the second unit in X factor number 1. But in this one, the way we do our post-purchase upsells is they immediately get sent to another offer page after they complete their order, and we give them a 20% discount. This can be done with apps like Reconvert, for example. The other option, which we also employ, is a first-time buyer upsell flow for emails, where we immediately send them an email with a 20% discount code an hour after their order, trying to take advantage of that impulse emotion where they're like super excited they just bought something, and then all of a sudden they get a discount for 20% off their next order, and you're just trying to capture that second sale as quickly as possible. Now, because you're offering them a discount, the increase to your margin isn't as significant. However, it is still quite significant. So let's go back to our hypothetical example again. Let's say the item value is $50 and you're giving them 20% off a second purchase. So that's another $40. So your order total from that one customer that you paid $20 for is $90. You subtract 40 for cost of goods, 20 for ads, and that leaves you with a $30 profit margin. So you went from $10 to $30 with the same amount of ad spend. Implementing these two X factors will make running your dropshipping business a whole lot easier. It will improve your win rate with product testing. It will improve the profit margin on the winners that you do find. I honestly can't overstate how significant these two things can be for your dropshipping business. Simple as they may seem, they are two of the most influential things in pretty much anybody's success, whether they realize it's happening to them or not. So the next time you're doing product research, make sure you apply this filter to the process and ask yourself, what is the likelihood that someone's going to want to buy more than one? And the answer should be obvious. You shouldn't be saying to yourself, well, I guess, maybe they might want more than one. You should look at it and say, okay, it makes sense for them to want to buy more than one. That's the answer you want to hear. And as far as X Factor 2 goes, setting up your post-purchase upsells is a set it and forget it thing. You build out your email flow, first-time buyer flow, and send them an email 1 hour after purchase with 20 or 30% off even. And then you install an app in your store like Reconvert and offer them the same product at a discount immediately after they purchase. For those of you that have utilized these secrets before, I want to hear about it in the comments. Tell me how it's impacted your business when you found a winner that people were buying 2, 3, 4, 5 units at a time, and tell me about how easy it was to scale a product like that. All right, now it's time for the next giveaway. I'm going to be giving one of you guys free access to my $300 A to Z dropshipping course that I just released this past week. I actually haven't announced it publicly. It's been made exclusively available to our Yard VIP members first, but I'm going to give access to one of you guys today for free. So comment on this video, X Factor. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, and I will announce the winner in the next video. So make sure you tune into that as well. See you guys later.